minutes since we've done a live stream for everybody. I've been adjusting to work life and working a new job. And I won't lie to you, it's been busy. I mean, I am working a lot. But we're just working into learning all the new job stuff, learning all the different buildings that I represent, and kind of, come to terms with waking up super early in the morning. It's been a thing, I'll tell you. But here, let me switch to chat filter all messages. There we go. Let's go back to the beginning. What's up? Adirondack Grown. All right, good to see you. So basically, Adirondack Grown, in terms of dealing with powdery mildew, the best product to deal with powdery mildew is Jake's All-in-One. It's an all-natural product. It is made here in Canada. It's made in British Columbia, Canada. Jake's All-in-One, man. Google Jake's All-in-One. That is the product to use. I'm not sure what country you're hailing to us from, but yes. What's up, Texas Squatch? Good to see you, buddy. What's up, Arizona Treasure Hunters? Good to see you, my friend. Um, what's up, Texas Squatch? What's up, Miss K's Garden? What's up, Daddy O Grows? What's up, Alien Garden Genetics? How's everybody doing? All right, all right, all right. It's weird. There we go. There we go. Okay, everything seems to be working properly on this end now. But happy Labor Day, everybody. I hope, the summer has been good for you. We're approaching the end of summer. I'm okay with that. The good thing about the end of summer, September, October kind of time, for those of you growing cannabis outside, you are approaching the time to harvest, my friends. It is almost go time for you to harvest your cannabis. Oh, yes, cannabis is the time for you to cut down your hard work and dry it out and trim it up, baby. Yeah. So, who here has got some outdoor cannabis that they're going to be bringing down? I mean, my best guess for most general regions, it's usually kind of early October. But, I mean, it could be different for everybody. I mean, I only really know our own sort of growing sort of space here. The hard thing in BC for outdoor plants is the rainy season starts very, very early. So the rainy season will start early, typically most years. And so that makes it hard to kind of get away without, bud rot, PM, all those types of wonderful things. You know what I'm saying? All right. Marcus Pierce, good afternoon from the UK. Hope all's good with Squatch and the Army. Hey, I'm doing well, my friends. I've been working a lot, so I'm still coming to terms with working as much as I have been, but that's okay. The new job is a really good job. It pays well. It's going to take me a few months to dig myself out of the debt that I've incurred, but once I'm out of debt, we're going to be able to buy lots of new things to play with on the channel for everybody. And heck, there's actually a good chance that I might be able to get toques at bare minimum ordered for the store. And we'll probably only do like a limited edition release of those. So there'll be like maybe 20 or 30 of them that we'll bring in for everybody. And but those will be available for the winter, which is, it's been like 6 years, I think, now, where people have been asking for toques to be available for the winter months. So I'm stoked to eventually / this year actually do it and bring in the the Potsquatch Growers Army toques for everybody. It's going to be a good time. For those of you in America, you call them beanies. They're called toques. They're not beanies. They're toques. But yeah. Miss K's Garden says, haha, mine is just starting to flower good. Well, that's all right. We're in September. You got another at least 4 to 6 weeks of outside. And remember, it's going to get bigger the closer you get to harvest time. That final push, that final stacking, it still applies to outdoor crops. And so, everything should be fine. There you go, Alien Garden Genetics. Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the elongated window of flowering times of the slow, gradual pull or transition into flower is a very real thing. It's in part actually when we did that one. Was it this run that we did that? I feel like it was, or was it another run? I can't remember now, but we slowly transitioned. So we slowly dropped our photo period, transitioning to a 12-12 over a number of weeks, and it really seemed to really help turbocharge our stacking initially early on. What's up, Chef Life? Good to see you, buddy. What's crack-a-lacking in the world of Chef Life? So, as you can also know, or have noticed, we haven't released the video yet, just because I haven't had time to make it. So, I'm going to be making that video today. We'll drop that video for everyone tomorrow. The plants are looking really good. So because I was going to make the video last night, then we would have dropped it tomorrow anyway. But then I wanted to leave the plants intact before I start doing what I'm going to do in the video. What's up, Grown Up Grows? Cheers to you with Will. Intact, so we can show you that in the live stream. Then I'll make the video afterwards. So what we're doing, what my plan is for this run is, what's up, Kiefer Chief? Good to see you, baby. All right. What my plan is on this one is I'm actually going to go through and defoliate how we used to do it back in the hood days. We've still got them in solo cups. These plants are huge for just being in solo cups. So the inoculation of the microthies is definitely helped boost them up. We've been feeding hard, here or there. I've stepped back on the feeding in the last week or so. I've just been giving them a little bit of CalMag and, well, technically ProCal from Green Planet, as well as the resin product with that. We were getting a bit of hooking happening, so there's a little bit of a nitrogen toxicity going on, so we've kind of stepped back off. Now, mind you, it's not shocking to see in that they're still in solo cups, right? So, but we've have such solid root systems now in these cups, so when we go to transplant and then we re-inoculate with microzyme, we also reintroduce beneficial nematodes as a preventative measure to keep ourselves safe. They're really going to explode. Dude, hell yeah, Eugene Dolan. That's awesome. Eugene Dolan says the neighbor's honeybees are feasting on his sunflowers. Proper honey. Hell yeah, buddy. Don't worry. Very shortly, we will get up and I will show you the plants, everybody, that we've got going there. So we've got the blue cheese by Girl Scout cookies. That's what we're still rocking. We've still got those going and hanging out. Not to mention the little scraggly one is catching up slowly. She's still definitely, the ugly duckling, but she's balanced out. Her leaves are coming in fairly normally now. She's just nowhere to the size of the other two. So the other two we're going to throw into the tent. We're going to keep her out. And we're going to, so one, I mean, I don't know the genders of these plants. I haven't checked them. They may have already sexed. I don't know. I haven't really looked because I'm not really in a rush and it is what it is. So we will take a look at that when we do the video where we're going to be doing a bunch of defoliation. So really the theory behind that is when we pull off these main fam leaves at an early stage, we are basically going to do that, then leave it for a few days, which is going to allow the plant to transition the existing root systems to feeding the secondaries, which are going to become primaries at the time of when we transplant our plants. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, Marcus Paris, it is good to see the old viewers popping in. It's good to see the new viewers as well. I mean, that strike really hit us, and then we haven't released much content at all for a couple of weeks, so that's kind of hurt us too. Normally, by this time of the show, we're at least 40 to 60 people, but we'll get back there. It's been hard for me to balance work, finding the energy to do these shows, and to kind of get there, but I'm getting there, though. I'm getting used to waking up early in the morning. Uncle Potsquatch has not had to wake up for work at like 5:30 in the morning in a long time. So like 5:30, I'm getting up most days. Like sleeping into me today was like sleeping until 8:30. I was like, whoa, it's so late. But that's a good sign. It shows that I am kind of, getting used to this. And this job pays enough that, once I pay off my debt and I save a bit more of a down payment, I'm actually going to be able to buy a float house here in British Columbia. I'm more than likely looking in the Richmond area, but we'll be able to buy a float house. We're going to have more room. I'm going to have an actual flowering room again. So we're going to set up a flowering room again. We're going to have a recording studio. I'm going to have a bedroom. I'm going to have living rooms. It's going to be great. We're going to build a bar. It's going to be great. And it'll be floating on the water, which will be a lot of fun. So we'll fly a pirate flag off the house or something like that. Yeah, so mud so sometimes like just because you had a bunch of rain doesn't necessarily mean you had the actual area where your root ball is get properly hydrated or soaked. So definitely dump some water on that. It'll be all right. Arizona Treasure Hunter says it's like riding a bike. I don't know. I don't know if I really ever woke up early for most jobs, to be fair. Like almost every job I've ever had has been more of an afternoon, evening type of a thing. So the only times typically where I end up waking up quite early in the morning is when I'm doing film stuff. Realistically, it'll probably be about a year, everybody, before I can actually pull off buying another house. But, you know, I've been looking in the market. Yeah, no, Pilgor, I figured it was you, bro. I wasn't 100% sure, but like Arizona Treasure Hunters sounds like it could have been you. And you said you were holding down Arizona still, so I was like, wait, it must be Pilgor there. Um, But that's sort of what's on the plan for the next year. We're going to try to get ourselves into a new house. I'm going to try to buy a float house. We're going to have a grow room again. And will be more room for me to play with on the channel and to kind of get things going for everyone again, as well as we can do pheno hunts. We can do breeding. We can do a lot of different things there. So I'm looking forward to that. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. Excuse me. This vape is slowly dying on me, so it's a little rougher than it usually is. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this run though. I've still got to clean the tent. We still haven't even done that. Realistically, I'm thinking I'm probably going to go in 5 gallons this time. So we're only going to have the 2 plants. We're going to really stay on top of training them and defoliation and all of that on this run. So really, the name of the game for us is going to be going 5-gallon buckets. Hell, I might even buy a tomato cage for old time's sake. Get some tomato cages going again. I've been toying around with an idea of like not only doing tomato cages, but then also tying to the levels of the tomato cage some bamboo stakes, so then we can kind of do on the inside a bit of a scrog action, then a main line action going out from the cage. I think that would be really, really cool. Grown Up Grows. No, I'm talking about a float house. So it's literally a house that's built on floating pylons. I can't afford to buy a real house. The cheapest house for sale where I live is millions and millions of dollars. Hell, the most expensive float homes are almost $1 million or over $1 million now. So I can't afford North Vancouver. We're going to be going to Richmond, which is where I can afford it. My budget's around $500,000 is what I could probably get approved for the mortgage for trying to get some more space and getting myself at least in some form back into the market there. So that's kind of what I'm working on, you know what I'm saying? Just like the movie Sleepless in Seattle. If anyone's seen that, he lived on a float home. Yeah, see, like Mudswat, like it sucks. Like I wish the real estate was more affordable here, guys. Because with this new job on my own, I can easily get approved for $500,000 mortgage. Obviously, that's Canadian, not American USD, obviously, but still. But you know, basically, $500,000 will get me a float home. So I'm in the market. I'm looking around. I'm looking at places that are usually about 12 to 1400 square feet. They come with sort of 2 or 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. One that I really liked had this wonderful up top sort of rooftop patio deck thing there, which was quite nice. So we'll see. I mean, for me, I got to get through the probation at this job, lock in that. So once I'm out of probation, then I'm a contracted employee. Then I can begin talking to a mortgage broker and kind of going from there. Yeah. Yes, Mudswat. It's on the water, so it has a wraparound dock deck. I can get a boat. It's the only real thing that's in any proximity to the city that I can afford to buy. Simply put. Sorry if there's stuff in my teeth. I was just eating chicken before the show. Oh, dude, most houses here are multi-million dollar houses in Vancouver. So, like, my stepmother's house alone is $4.5 million. It's not a fancy, expensive house. It's an old house, but it's worth $4.5 million. And that's just over maybe a 10 or 15-minute drive from where I live in my apartment here. Hell, most rents in Vancouver for a 1-bedroom apartment, everybody, are anywhere from 25 to $3,500 a month. No. So Marcus Paris, this is saltwater. So I'm pretty sure the float homes that I'm all looking at are on saltwater. So the saltwater would not be beneficial to using in my grow. Yeah. Have a good evening, Miss K's Garden. Oh, Arizona treasure hunters. That's just the market here. I mean, I could take you over to North Van, which is where I work a lot. The seniors' homes I work for now, the cheapest rent is just under $6,000 a month. The most expensive unit in the most fanciest building is $30,000 a month rent. Like, and these are obviously rich older people, right? But it is what it is. What's up, Roman Reckless? We're just talking about Uncle Potsquatch's plans to eventually, with the new job, be able to afford to get a new house. It won't be a house on ground. I'm going to be buying a float home, but it'll at least provide us with more space to grow. We're going to, it'll probably take me a year. No, I have left the bartending industry, everybody. I have left the bartending industry. That's why I've been struggling because I'm working days. I'm up really early, and I've been getting used to working a real job. So bartending just doesn't take it out of you like a normal job does, in my opinion. And so I've been getting used to that. But yeah, yeah, right. That would be fun, Jansen, doing kind of a spoof on Smoke on the Water there. But yeah, it'll be good though, everybody. I mean, it'll probably take me about a year to pull this off because I've got to save up some more money for a down payment. At $500,000 at only 5%, that's still $50,000 that I have to come up with, which I'm a far cry from that currently. But that's where I'm hoping the film stuff and all of that. Between not only what I get paid for doing the movie, but then also what I'll make from the theater cut, will help push me over the line to having a decent down payment to qualify for a mortgage there to buy a house. So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. But so now I am the mobile maintenance technician for a large, high-end, independent retirement living company. They have 6 buildings currently. They've got 2 in North Van, 1 in West Van, 1 in Burnaby, 1 in Coquitlam, 1 in White Rock, 1 in Kelowna. They're building another one in Coquitlam, then they're building one in Victoria. So this company is growing really, really quickly. Mr. Splacchiavelli, the name of the film that I will be shooting, they've pushed the date, so I will be down in Costa Rica now, as long as it sticks to plan, in February. So I'll be down in Costa Rica in February shooting this movie. I can't tell you much about it, but I can tell you the name, and it's called Chicle. But yeah, so the new job is I drive around, I fix shit. I'm the mobile maintenance technician, and then I play fill in for all the building facilities managers when they are on vacation. So right now, for example, one of the building managers on vacation, so I'm at that building more than the other ones, just to make sure everything, most things still happen, and then that it doesn't burn down while their facilities manager is gone. Thank you very much, Joe Burns. It's nice to make the switch, everybody, to a job that is, if my acting never goes anywhere, this job will be the type of job where I can retire from. There's a lot of room in this company for me to move up. I mean, heck, if I move up higher than where I'm at now, right now, my job, depending on how much driving I do, because I get paid mileage on top of my salary, which is tax exempt in Canada, it's about a 6-figure job a year right now, low 6 figures. So we're talking like, sort of the equivalent of like 100 to 115,000 a year. But if I move up in the company, the sky's the limit. I could, I know that some people in the company are getting paid 200,000 to 300,000 a year. So, it's a place that if all my dreams never happen, and all I ever am is a guy working for a big corporation that does retirement living and then Potsquatch. Because Potsquatch doesn't really make me much money. Like, yeah, we have our store, but we barely make enough money to pay for the store to stay online. It costs us a lot of money every month to do. And YouTube, obviously, we don't make any money doing that. This is all a passion piece for me to help making information and accessibility to growing information, there and present for people. It's good to have a backup plan. So that this new job is sort of that, right? Like, I mean, it's the type of job where I can not only buy a float home here, eventually I'll be able to start buying, condos in other parts of Canada that are much cheaper. And that's my retirement plan, is owning properties and renting them out. and then basically just maybe making a movie or two a year and then growing a bunch of weed. Like that's the life I'm going for, everybody. That's what Uncle Potsquatch is trying to build for himself after the last life fell apart. But we're getting there. What's up, Jonathan? Good to see you, buddy. All right. Yeah, so clearly cruising has a question here, everybody. What does it mean when the bud on the plant gets little brown dots and seems to fall apart easily? That is definitely almost 99.9% sure bud rot. When you've got bud rot happening, you need to amputate what's rotting right away. You amputate the rot and then you go back a couple of inches. I know it sucks, but it's only going to spread. And once it already sets in, even with amputation, it may still spread to other parts of your plant. If you're having problems with water just sort of free sitting on your plant, you can, in fact, use a scrim to try to reduce water on your plants. After a big rain, as weird as this is going to sound, go out and shake the water off your plants, everybody. Go out and just shake the water off your plants. It is a thing. It will help. But yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that definitely sounds like bud rot. Hell yeah, Jonathan. That sounds sexy, buddy. Jansen Dennis, I mean, there might be some in one or two of the buildings, which are some of the poorer buildings that smoke weed. I don't really get the vibe from the rich buildings of these old people that they smoke weed. I mean, they probably live a better quality of life if they did partake in cannabis. But I won't lie to you. I'm keeping who I am as the Potsquatch secret at my new job. I'm not letting anyone know that I'm also an internationally unknown pot grower, teacher, lighting brand, genetics line, blah, 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 dude. Simply put, Josh is never going to take his shirt off at work because my entire back is tattooed with the original Potsquatch Growers logo. So, like, if we ever had like a pool day with the staff or something, I'm not gonna go swimming. Like, I don't need anyone asking any questions about my personal life and who I am. The owner of the company is a German. It is legal in Germany, but if anything, if I learned anything from living in Germany for a few years and being married to a German, most Germans are actually really anti-weed. Um, there's a lot of social faux pas or negativity associated with cannabis in Germany. So I'm just like, I don't need the company finding out what I do in my personal private time. You're not wrong, character matters. Farmers do make the world go round. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading here. Bear with me. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading. Hey, salute to you as well, J.C. Smith. Yeah, so Marcus Paris, exactly. So the owner of this company is in fact a German. So, and I have hopes of, who knows, maybe 5 years from now, Josh, Uncle Potsquatch is the VP of the company. That's right, pulling down that big corporate money. But the thing I will say is, I get to work with my hands all day. I get to fix a plethora of different things. Some days I'm drilling through 18 inches of industrial cement reinforced to run a new industrial drainage line off the roof. Some days I'm replacing light fixtures and upgrading everything to LED power friendly things. Or some days, um, I am going up to Mrs. Smith and she's saying my TV doesn't work, but really what she did was click the input to another input and doesn't realize how to use her remote. I was in a room the other day where the guy kept thinking like, oh, the last people who came to try to fix my TV, they stole my remote. They stole my remote. Like this old guy really was set on the idea that someone had stolen his remote, but then he shifted his ass and Disney turned on. And I was like, hey, bud, could you stand up for a second there? And I found the remote control in the chair. Hey, keep it real. Pilgore, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping in. And yeah. Are you still there, Pilgore? Because I could show you the plants before you go if you want to see the little plants we got going there. I think he might be gone. So Jansen says the word farmer was originally 1500s, basically a tax collector. I prefer soil managers of the land. Never heard that one either. But okay, Pilgor's still there. So we'll show you the plants here. Okay, there we go. I know it's a far cry from what we used to do on the channel, but there we go. 1 second here. They're living in the washroom, so there we go. So these are the plants there. You know, we got a little bit of cannibalization and choking out on the bottom, which is fine because, again, they've gotten so thick. But, like, look at the thickness of these stems in solo cups. And then, so this is the one in the back who's been the weird, floopier one. But they are almost ready to be transplanted. First, what we're going to do is after the show today, I'm going to make the video. We're going old school. We're taking off all of our main fan leaves and opening up our tiny little secondaries and allowing the root systems to shift into feeding our secondary branches, okay? Which then we'll leave that for a couple days and then we transplant and it'll be boom. We'll be off to the races. Hell yeah, buddy. No, I'm going old school. So this is how I used to grow my plants at the very beginning of the channel, everybody. I would pull fan leaves off really, really early, forcing the secondaries to really take off early on. A lot of people used to give me flack about it, but then we would crank out and produce huge amounts of weight off a few plants in a closet. Yes, people's main comment to that style or technique back in the day would be, oh, well, you're stunting the plant. Well, there's a temporary stunting. And yeah, because right now, those fan leaves are typically functioning as the main energy producer for the plant. You're not wrong. However, it doesn't stay that way. So that temporary stunting is actually more of a transitioning of me telling the plant what I want it to do. I'm telling the plant where to focus its developmental energies, okay? And that's what I'm doing with that. So that's how, from an early stage, this plant's going to turn into major monster beast action, where we've got big, huge segmented main branches all over the place. And then we stay on top of lollipopping and defoliating the entire time, and that's how we get solid buds all the way down. 1 second here, everybody. I'm just reading. Oh, dude, Roman Reckless, you're lucky. I mean, my ex got all the tools in the separation, so I'm slowly having to rebuild my tool collection. I mean, all of the buildings I go to typically have all the tools I need, but as the mobile maintenance guy, I'm starting to try to put together a new tool kit. So I don't have to worry about where the daily staff of the building put something or lost it. So I can actually just show up and do my work. The great thing I love about this job, though, is I don't report to the building managers. I work directly for head office. So the third in the entire company, so the guy who's the third most powerful, the Scotty of my company, is the only person I report to. So I can float around. I can come and go as I see fit. I am the eyes, ears, and hands of head office, all the while still fixing shit and stuff too. Zype 2.0. Ask away, my friend. Everyone is always allowed to ask questions. I am sitting on the edge of the shower, everybody. I am not taking a shit. But ask away at that is at where'd you go? Zype 2.0. Ask as many questions. Yeah, I dude, you can even send pictures to the email right now. I can fire up the computer and check that one out. He did indeed, Jonathan. Bill Clinton did know a lot about head office, or head in the office, while holding the head office. Ah! Anyway. So Zype 2.0 says, I'm growing a cross of cantaloupe and strawberry double diesel. I have some pictures. What's the email? I'll send them. So it's potsquatch420 at gmail.com. I'm just going to have this quick cigarette in the washroom here, and then I'll fire up the computer for you. Mudswat, can you type my... Mudswat, or any of the other moderators, can you type my email for me? Because I'm on the phone, so I can't type it. Hey, Zype 2.0, if it survived a tornado, I wouldn't worry about any hypothetical stunting that has sort of taken place within the plant. I would say that you definitely it could work in its benefit in the long run once it recovers. So, yeah, no, I mean, my main thing in terms of that whole thing is like she did not seem like a very nice partner. She seemed kind of mean. She always struck me as someone who'd be mean. So, I mean, I kind of get it. Hell yeah, Zype 2.0. The second I'm done this dart bud, I will fire up the computer and I will check the email for you. Thanks, Mudswat. So it's potsquatch420 at gmail.com. So that's POTSQUATCH 420 at gmail.com. Yeah, Alvin, I should be back after this afternoon. I'm going to do a ropes course in the mountains up at Gross Mountain. And then I've got a friend coming over afterwards. But yeah. But I could definitely try to fit it in. And if not, I should be around tomorrow evening after work. I go to bed really early these days because of my new job, but yeah. Nice, Jonathan. The only thing to remember, though, too, is on your initial F1 crosses, you don't know whether it was a good breeding buck, male. It may technically be the pollen of the strain that you had a desire for, but I would definitely encourage in that F1 to do a big pheno hunt because you're basically just pollen chucking. You're not having any control over the actual thing. So remember to pheno hunt and begin to stabilize from there. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Roman. Thank you, Mudswat. Both of you. Thank you. Just something to bear in mind. Oh, the little babies. Oh, the little blue cheese by Girl Scout cookies. Excuse me. Yeah, I had them on the initial shelf first, but then they were growing up too tall, so I dropped them to the floor. So we're going to be doing, like I said, after the show today, I'll make that video, and then we will give them a few days, and then transplant will happen. Joe Burns says, could you up pot in the middle of flower? I've got 2 meter plants and 5 gallon bags. Been thinking of doing the 10 gallon, but don't want to fuck it up. It's not advisable typically to transplant in flower. You can shock your plant too much, literally almost stop flower. You can trigger hermaphroditic realities. So it's not advisable. It is doable. I've done it and not had any issues. So if you are going to do that, be very, very careful. Be very careful. Okay, so the email did just come in, Zype 2.0, and I will, like I said, when I'm done this dirt, I will fire up the computer Medora, and I will try to take a look at that for you. Yeah, I'm against feminization and back crossing that way, so you can do that, but I would not advise it. I would say do a traditional pheno hunt, find a good male and a good female, and do it that way. But I don't like feminized beans. I'm anti-feminized beans, so. That's true. Mudswat has a good point. What you could do there is you could just cut off the bottom of your bags and put it into a place, into another bag that way. It'll be less traumatic on the plant, that's for sure. I'm almost done. Then we'll go fire up the computer Medora. All right, let's get up and we'll fire up the computer and we'll take a look at those pictures you sent, my friend. All right. God, my desk is chaotic. Okay, 1 second here. I'm just firing up the computer, everybody. Oh. Trying to remember my password. Shows you how often I am on this computer. Okay, 1 second here, everybody. I'm having problems logging into the computer. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Bear with me. Well, it seems that I've somehow forgotten the computer to my fucking MacBook. Oh, or the password. Give me a second. Bloody hell. Okay, so I can't remember my bloody password. So give me a second. I'm gonna sit with this for a minute and see if we can hack into my own computer. Oh, bloody hell. Mudswat, the pee around the plants only works if you eat meat. Just saying. That's just weird because, like, I've never forgotten the password to this thing. Maybe I had a stroke. It's very weird to me. This is going to bug me, everybody, that I can't remember the bloody password. Okay, I got to try again. This is going to bug me. I got to get into the computer. Oh, I remembered it. Yay. Okay, now I got to switch to my Potsquatch email. I'm almost there, everybody. I'm almost there. Okay, perfect. So now I have hacked my own computer. Okay, so one, the yellowing is typically occurring at the bottom, which means they're root locked a little bit. So you've got a little bit of potential self-cannibalization happening on the plant. You've also got something really eating your fan leaves, like something's munching on your plant really well there. Yeah, so again, you've got basically, this is just self-cannibalization on the lower branches of your plants. Typically, I would actually clear all of this out, strip and lollipop the bottoms to help focus the energy to the top, simply put, is what I would say there. There's another picture here. Overall, I'd say they don't look too bad. I mean, so you could do one of two things. You could actually just lollipop and strip out all of these bottoms, or hit with a much harder feed. But the top itself looks really nice overall. You've definitely got something that's munching on your plant, though. Something's having lunch. Probably caterpillars would be my guess. And if you've got caterpillars going on, you have to be mindful of caterpillars because they can trigger bud rot in your pants, right? So yeah, so you could do beneficial microbials. You could introduce some microzide. Microzide's really going to help you in that because if that self cannibalization is taking place in the bottom of your pot because of lack of root available area, by inoculating with microzide, you're going to be able to basically almost double the root volume in the same area. So that'll definitely be something to help for sure. Roman Reckless says use Bacillus thuringiensis. I don't know if I'm saying this right. For caterpillar and worms. There we go. Roman with a good answer there. I dig it. I dig it. Yep. So, what can we talk about today? What else is new in the world of Potsquatch? Honestly, I'm going to be doing. I've got a bunch of sort of the old plant material from other past grows that's sort of been sitting around. Some of it's frozen, so it's still kind of fresh. Some of it is just old. But I'm going to be taking that and getting it turned into a crumble. So that'll be fun. I'm going to try to keep the sort of the newer stuff and the older stuff segregated because the older stuff I think will be a high CBN content. May not taste perfect or great, but it'll be perfect for, I could make it into, other products if it's not smokable, as it were. But we're going to be doing that with a bunch of the old school stuff that's been kicking around and just sort of getting that fresh and out. I'm really excited for this blue cheese, though, by Girl Scout Cookies, as long as it comes out with a strong blue cheese nose. The blue cheese nose is really what I'm looking for on this plant. I may or may not get it, but in a perfect world, if I get what I want, it'll have the blue cheese nose with the Girl Scout Cookies structure and flower development because, they make beautiful dense buds. Even though I'm not really into the strain itself in terms of its smokability, I like what it does in terms of the structure. Oh, the puppies are going to bark now. No! Stop it. My dangerous guard dogs, everybody. My dangerous guard dogs. Betty, Mogwai, stop. Silly dogs. Silly dogs. Sorry, everybody. I'm just reading to make sure I haven't missed anything. All right. Okay, we're good. Let's do, because there's not a lot of people watching right now, but we could ask those who are here. Like, anyone here, in the past, people definitely had a want for toques with the Potsquatch Growers logo on them for winter. Do we still want that? Is that something we do care about? It'll cost a chunk of change for me to get them, but I could do it if everyone wanted it. If people are into it, we could definitely do that. Puppies! Now they're going to the front door because I left the stupid gate up. Come on, guys. Come here. Silly guys. There we go. Clearly cruising. I sent a picture email and was just wondering if you think I should take some more leaves off before I harvest. Oh, okay. Let me take a look quickly there. Clearly cruising. Just a moment, my friend. Let's, well, first thing, if I'm going to be honest, clearly cruising, you are nowhere near ready for harvest. This looks like a week 2 or 3 of flower at most to me. So you've got to let this run September and most of October for it to be ready. So without seeing the whole plant, I would say you're good. Um, it doesn't look like you have too much congestion in terms of your fan leaves or anything like that. But yeah, you definitely have like 6 or 7 weeks left on that plant. Like it's and I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just being honest. You're definitely nowhere near ready to harvest that. If you harvest that now, it's going to be predominantly CBG. Like it won't have even had the mother cannabinoid convert into THCA or anything else. Um, Definitely no weight to that. So if you were to dry that plant soon, you're gonna get like a couple of joints, and it won't get you high. Like it'll be way premature in terms of the pick on that, I think. Nice Zype 2.0. If it's an Indian style land race, it's predominantly going to be more of a sat, I would guess. Well, it could be also, though, it could be just as much indica depending on what region it came from. So, depending on the region of India that came from, you could go either way in terms of its genetic realities. Okay, so then if it came from the Kush Mountains or the Hindu Kush region mountains, then it typically should be some form of a Kush. There are still a lot of Sats through the Kush Mountains, though, too. And if it is a land race, it's been intermixing naturally on its own. So it'll probably be more of a hybrid. When we grew out that orange Hindu Kush from the Hindu Kush Mountains, like it definitely was an indica predominant, but like there was some weird structural things to it that like made me question things too. Like its fan leaves never got huge, right? Like so it had more of the thinner fan leaf to it. It definitely smoked more like a hybrid, I would say. And that actually came from the Hindu Kush Mountains as well, that orange Hindu that we got from Gaz that we were doing. But yeah, excuse me. I mean, that sounds fun, Zype 2.0. The one thing I will say, if it's one of the strains that goes like super duper purple, typically purple strains don't taste very good. Some of them do, but for the most part, if you have a large amount of purpling happening in your blood's tissues, like if it's like straight crazy purple, often I found they don't taste as good, but they can still be really fire in terms of their effects, though, at the same time. Oily, not silly. It might be. It might be a hash plant, but hash plant is actually a North American invention. Hash plant is not a naturally occurring land race, and was created in North America. So if it is if it is like a hash plant, I would question the validity of it coming from an actual land race source. Is my only thing. You can get the hash plant, hashy plant kind of style taste in some land races, but typically more often than not you're going to find that more in the Middle East, typically, from my own experience, at least with strains. So you're going to get that spicy, earthen, kind of gassy reality more from the Middle East. And that has to do with the type of pollinators that exist in where the plants evolved, right? So, for example, here, our pollinators in North America are like things like honeybees and other types of things like that. They're attracted to fruit, they're attracted to sweet smells. So, a lot of the cannabis that would come from this part of the world typically is using that kind of a pollinator to pollinate itself. So, then it develops these certain scents to attract the pollinators, where in the Middle East, dung beetles, baby, things that smell like shit, death, and weirdness are what is going to attract the pollinators over there. So that's kind of an interesting thing to remember when we're talking about different scents and smells of strains and their origin story. A big part of the evolution of these genetics of how they came to smell and taste the way they do has to do with the actual pollinators of the area that plant has actually in fact evolved with. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, you just feel like it would be nice for hash. Oh, I feel you. No worries. Okay, sorry. I misunderstood you there, Zype 2.0. I'm just reading people's messages. Yeah, so character matters. Fat leaves, not a huge stretch during flower is definitely indicative of more of an indica leaning reality in terms of the plants for show. Jonathan's just talking with Roman, saying he used, I believe, the product Dr. Zyme citric acid is a go-to for me. It's oily, so you can. It's not oily, so you can spray it later in flower if you need to. And then Jonathan's just saying he used it once last week for spider mites. Haven't seen him since. Gonna reapply it tonight to be safe. Didn't even use a whole spray bottle mixed up. Hell yeah. So Zype 2.0 says, I noticed insane main stem growth through the flowering stages from pre-flower to the first flower. Okay, so now I'm assuming you mean your main segmented branches that are either your main stock or the sort of initial secondaries that would have become kind of main stocks too if you trained it properly through running through the life cycle of your plant is what you're talking about, Zype 2.0? For those of you who are new here too, by the way, feel free to participate. Feel free to ask any questions, anything you want. It's okay. It's fun. It's fun to play along and have fun with everybody. There we go. Went from looking like straw to a whole ass small damn tree. Hell yeah, buddy. And spider mites. The thing I spider mites suck, but they don't overly puppies. They don't overly hinder your plant, right? Like they hinder your plant a little bit, and it's gross, and you got bugs and webbing everywhere. You'll have to bud wash the crap out of your plants. But I will say this about spider mites: as much as they suck, as much as like if you see them, if you see webs, if you can see them, it's a really bad infestation because you do not see them until it gets bad. Um, so simply put, um, it sucks. It's annoying, but it's not one of those pests that's going to full out destroy your crop. It's not going to full out, destroy your run. Like there are ways around it. You can work with this stuff. Bud wash the heck out of it, and yeah, like it's doable. It's not ideal, but it's doable is what I'm saying. Yes, you are correct, Jonathan. A good sign of spider mites is little dots. Not splotches, but dots. Splotches are typically more of a thrip reality, or if you see weird splotches where it's not quite full damage to the leaf, but it is some initial seeming secondary damage to the chlorophyll within your leaf. What you're witnessing typically is the larval state of either fungus gnat larvae or other bugs munching on your roots. That's where, when we use beneficial nematodes, it's a wonderful preventative because they're going to take care of any of the larval state bugs, okay, that are going on in that dirt, attacking the new little roots that are being grown and expanding in your root medium there. Sorry, everybody, I'm just reading here. Oh. I will take a moment, though, too, to apologize for everybody for the lack of content, for the lack of, last couple shows haven't been very long. Today's show is not going to be able to be very long because I keep having people wanting me to do things and show up to stuff when I've got days off, so it's harder for me to focus. And I'm only getting like 1 or 2 days off. Like so far, I've had 2 days off in 2 weeks, so I've been working a lot. But it will calm down. It's pretty important to the company that I work for that I only do 40 hours a week and that I get 2 days off in a row. I think next week will be the first time that we actually have 2 days off here at Potsquatch Growers in a row. So again, we will get back to the content. We will get everything going again. It's just transitioning to working full-time hours. And then for me, typically, like I'm still putting in, an 8-hour day, but then I'm also driving for 1.5 hours either way on the end of my day. And it's just with waking up at 5:30, it has been a struggle for me to adapt to this reality. But I'll get there though, everybody. We'll get there and it's going to be okay. But simply put, if I don't do it, I would have been homeless. And then, I would have been like, a homeless person trying to grow weed. Uncle Potsquatch moved out to the woods. He's homeless now. He lives in the trees. So, but if I work my ass off at this job, kick ass and take names, hopefully in the next year, I'll be able to get myself back into the housing market and buy a float home where I will be able to, in actuality, have more space to do the channel and to run things and kind of get things done. So I'm excited overall about that. Puppy, stop. Stop. We're allowed to have neighbors. That's a no. No. Shush. Sorry, everybody. Dude, weird. I've never seen a clear white spider mite. That's interesting. They're almost always the double spotted spider mite here in BC. Fun. Zype 2.0. I think you should be fine, bro. But again, what I would do is, again, give them a big feed, lollipop the bottom. So I'd strip off the bottom 30% of your plant to allow that plant to focus its energy on your tops, to maximize your actual final yield, okay? That would be my honest to God main recommendation to you on that. But I do think that in the long run you'll be okay. I definitely think you'll be okay in the long run for sure. You returned to the soil. I was pretty mad. Wait, so you're saying you got contaminated soil? Is that what you're talking about, Jonathan? Yeah, I typically avoid that too. That's a great tip that Roman is raising about not buying dirt that's been stored outside. So, like a lot of places, you don't really have control over it. Like, so if you go to Canadian Tire or Home Depot or a Lowe's, typically they store all of their soils right outside. So there's a really good chance for contamination and cross contamination to happen. Where if you look, if you go to a hydroponic store, almost all of them will not do that. They'll keep their soils inside, at least here in BC predominantly, because we are indoor growers for the most part here in British Columbia, Canada. So try to avoid purchasing soil that's been stored outside. That is a very good, safe bet, 100%. Oh, whack. That sucks, Jonathan. I feel for you, bro. I buy Pro Mix HP. That's my happy place, as everybody knows. Half a cup per gallon. That should be good, Mud Swat. I mean, if you're noticing it still being hungry, then I would increase that. But that sounds like a safe place to start, in my opinion. I mean, it depends on how concentrated you've made your tea, but that should be a safe place in terms of levels, though. Okay, you got to remember, it's juvenile ladybugs that eat. The adult ladybugs are the ones that are fucking. So You want ladybugs early on in their life because once they've fed and grown, their main thing they're worried about is getting it on. So the little young ladybugs are the ones that are going to attack and eat things. But again, ladybugs, even when they're at their most ravenous, aren't great. Um, Getting other forms of predatory mites like a Cusimaris mite or something like that is a much better option. I'm just going to be upfront about that. Ladybugs are great, but past a point, they're just worried about getting it on and banging and shitting on your plants and having sex. I mean, to be fair, it sounds like a good life, but I mean, like, yeah. So that's one thing to remember. No, it's cool, Roman Reckless. Ladybugs will scope it out and like monitor it out, and it's cool to watch them work. I definitely agree with you. How bad are springtails? Not bad. Springtails aren't a big deal. Typically, if you see a bunch of springtails in your soil, it's just healthy soil. Springtails aren't that big of a deal. Nice, Jonathan. Just remember, if there's no food for your praying mantis to eat in the tent, he will die. He will die. So, um, if you've got an infestation, great. But if you don't, he will die. Yeah, springtails just mean your soil are happy. Your soil's happy. That's all it is. Nothing to be scared of. So Jonathan, the gnats are going to be propagating in your soil. Okay. So don't worry about taking out the adults. They will eventually die off. What you got to do is attack their larval state. You could do a lot of different things. H2O2 with water. There's so many options. However, the best thing, and I know I always say it now, is beneficial nematodes. Man, they will take out and overnight, in the matter of a day or two, destroy an infestation of fungus gnats. What are you using to treat them, though, Jonathan? That's my question. Do I plant sacrificial plants like bell peppers? I've never done that. I mean, it's an interesting idea. I think if I were to do a plant, I wouldn't go sacrificial. I would go with something like a companion plant that deters certain pests that would be known in my hood. You know what I'm saying? Um, but companion plants in general are a great concept in terms of keeping pests away and protecting our cannabis crops. Certain ones work for certain things, while they might actually attract other things. Like marigolds are great for keeping away a lot of things, but they'll attract spider mites, though, which that's where having a plethora or at least a combination of companion plants is a good idea. Um, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so, Jonathan, good, awesome. So make sure though that you're introducing enough nematodes into your environment. For a 5 gallon pot, you're going to be wanting to, at bare minimum, introduce at least 1 million nematode culture into there. Um, so remember, you got to go a little heavy handed if it's out of hand. So like, I mean, I'd put, maybe if you're still struggling, I'd put like 2 or 3 million nematodes to a pot, and you should be good to go. Know what I'm saying? Lemongrass, in my experience, definitely seems to be a deterrent to a lot of bugs for sure. I mean, I'm not an outdoor grower; I'm an inside grower. That's my world, but doesn't mean I don't have friends who grow outside. And lemongrass, I've never witnessed it be something that attracts bugs. If anything, it kind of keeps them away. Clearly, cruising says I sent you a pic on your email of the two I planted at the same time, but one is taking a lot longer to flower. Okay. Oh no, inbox. Is this one? Okay. So I'm assuming the one in the back is the one that's flowering quicker, where the one in the front is taking its sweet ass time. Yeah, that'll happen sometimes. That's just sort of a pheno reality. To be fair, the genetics themselves are probably a hybrid. You've got one that's a faster indica sort of leaning flowering window, where the other one is more of a sat long term, taking its sweet ass time to do anything kind of a phenotype. So, I mean, I just, again, just be patient, right? Good things come to those who wait. That's the best way to do it. So be patient and wait her out. You should be okay, in my humble 2 cents. All right, everybody. I know this is like the shortest show we've done in months, but I've got to shift gears because I got to make a quick video for everybody to release tomorrow, okay, on the plants. Plus, I need to then make it downtown to get on a C bus to get over to North Van to head to the Grouse Mountain to go do a ropes course. My friend was like, let's do the Grouse Grind first. And I'm like, I already don't like heights. I don't think I need to destroy my legs hiking up a mountain. I'm just probably going to pay to ride the gondola up and wait for them at the top. And then I'll do the ropes course. But my friends, my family, thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for tuning in. We will, again, like I said, release a video for everybody tomorrow. We will also be getting back on staying on top of live streams, one a week, update video a week, and at least 1 or 2 educational videos a month. So like, subscribe, tell your friends. It really helps us kind of get our numbers back up so YouTube can hopefully one day take us seriously. Check out potsquatchsales.com. It's where you're going to get all your hats, t-shirts, grinders, papers, CBD beard oil, CBD, genetics, and all of that jazz. That's potsquatchsales.com. Check out the Facebook group. Okay, it's a safe place for all people to participate, grow their weed titties, learn about weed titties, share about weed titties, answer the questions. It is, in fact, a liability. So if you answer the questions, then we can just automatically let you in and not worry about anything. I got to go play on a mountain now. So, my friends, my family, remember, 1, the true grower is the forever student. 2, the true grower is not afraid to take risks. 3, the true grower makes educated, stupid decisions. Love yourselves, love your plants, and we will talk soon. Sending all my love to all of you. Keep it real, keep it fun, keep it sexy, keep it squatchy. Be nice to each other. The world's a dark place. And you never know how a small random act of kindness can change someone's day. All right, talk to you soon, everybody. Keep it real. Mwah. Peace out. Bye-bye.